Lt.Crnl Stu Scheller of the United States Marine Corps was the only officer in the entire American Armed Services who said in public what so many were thinking. What the hell are we doing? What did our leaders just do in Afghanistan? How did they screw it up so badly, and why is no one being held accountable? That's what he said, and he said it on Facebook. Here's part of it.
The reason people are so upset on social media right now is not because the Marine on the battlefield let someone down. That service member has always rose to the occasion, done extraordinary things. People are upset because their senior leaders let them down, and none of them are raising their hands and accepting accountability or saying, we messed this up.
So instead of answering his questions, the Pentagon did what the Biden administration so often does. They punished him. They tried to crush him. They court-martialed him and sent him to jail, to solitary confinement.
Today with the court.
Stu Scheller pleaded guilty to those charges, meaning he's going to lose his retirement benefits. Just before the sentencing
Two-thirds of
began
it.
today, Scheller appeared to be in good spirits. Watch.
What do you expect to happen today?
We made our case. We left it all on the table, so we'll see what they do. I feel good about everything that I said. We'll see.
The man served honorably for 17 years.
He's lost everything.
Exactly the kind of person you want protecting your country.
I ain't never seen a Marine look so
Shortly
drained.
after that, the judge rejected the prosecutor's request for a stiff sentence. He instead issued a reprimand and docked Scheller 1 month of pay. The judge also called for an investigation into possible government misconduct, and thank God that he did. That misconduct is not possible, it's certain. Stu Scheller Sr. and Kathy Scheller are the parents of Stu Scheller, and we're happy to have them both on the show tonight. Kathy and Stu, thanks so much for coming on. How is your son doing?
He's doing well, Tucker. Thank you so much for giving us this platform to bring our plight to the American people, and thank you to the Congress people, and most of all, thank you to the Americans that showed up. It was the Americans that showed up, that spoke their voice, that stood up with our son, and that's the reason he's not in the brig today, waiting for months and months for a court-martial to finally happen.
That's a mama talking.
We just can't thank you enough. And
Her baby was in the brig.
Accountability showed up in that courtroom today in a big way. I would like to thank Judge Hines for carefully examining all of the evidence,
Judge
not
Hines.
taking it out of context, listening to our son's complete and total statement, checking out his military record, recognizing that there was not a single blemish on it until the fatal day of the botched withdrawal from Afghanistan and the 13 service members killed. He recognized it for what it was. He gave the lenient sentence, and we just cannot thank you, America, enough. You see, I have teeth. I can smile.
Well, we're grateful that he's out. But what a sad day for the country, because I think all Americans look at your son, reasonable Americans, and say that's exactly the guy I want as a Marine officer defending us. I mean, Mr. Scheller, your son spent 7 years doing in this job. Like, it must be poignant for him to have to leave.
Well, it's not over yet. We all think it's over. It is not over.
So here's what you're not going to hear from the Marine Corps spokespeople. It's not over. The plea deal that Stuart agreed to while in prison was to plead guilty, which, by the way, was always his intent. He accepts accountability.
Yes.
So he pleaded guilty to the charges. And in return, the Marine Corps and the Secretary of Navy agreed to accept his resignation. The only concern we have is that there is no time limit on that. That could be a week, it could be a month, it could be months. They still have him on a gag order, and that's why we're out here talking tonight. I tell you what, the final decision maker is the Secretary of Navy, Deltoro, and he is responsible for signing his
Everybody call Carlos Deltoro. Put the heat on him.
The Secretary of Navy, and you can find his address, you can find his email address. We would like an honorable discharge, and we would ask Americans to contact the Secretary of Navy and ask him to expedite it, please.
I don't think there's any doubt that they will, and we can only hope that Lloyd Austin will plead guilty and resign his job, because he deserves it much more than your son. We appreciate coming on tonight, and I'm sure we'll see you again. Mr. Scheller, thanks.
Thank you, Tucker.
So much, Tucker.
Thank you very much.
Before we go to break tonight, a quick correction. Last time on the show, we made a brief offhand joke about the Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg. And this morning, we discovered our error. It turns out that Buttigieg is not a dwarfish fraud whose utter mediocrity indicts the class that produced him. No, not at all. Pete Buttigieg was once the mayor of South Bend, Indiana. So understandably, going forward, we are under strict orders from the Biden administration to take Pete Buttigieg very, very seriously. And of course we will. Our mistake. Well, it's not a surprise that an awful lot has changed in this country in the past 18